Good morning, leaders. I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if any of you guys pop up here. And then we shall chat this morning. Pow. Y'all say hey when y'all pop up here so I know who is watching. My hair is frizzy because it is so windy outside, but it feels so good. I'm so glad it cooled off a little bit. If you're in North Carolina, it cooled off just a tad. So good morning. How are you guys this morning? How are you guys? I have some golden nuggets for y'all today because I was thinking about this yesterday and I was so freaking tired by the time I got home making deliveries that I didn't feel like doing a video. But I got a whole night's worth of sleep last night, which is amazing. First time in months that I've gotten a whole night of sleep. So I am ready to go. Ready to go. Good morning. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Courtney. Good morning, Lindsay. Good morning, y'all. I am pumped for this month. This month is going to be an amazing one for our teams and for our entire group. But I wanted to pop up here this morning. If I get out of breath, it's fine. I'll take deep breaths in between, y'all. This belly, though. This belly. I wanted to pop up here because a common thing that I'm hearing from a lot of my leaders, and even some of my directors, they'll say, how do I motivate my team? Okay? How many of you guys think that yourself, or you have team members that say, how do I motivate my team? How do I motivate my team to work? How do I motivate my team to want this business? How do I motivate my team to promote the join special? How do I motivate my team to get PRV? How do I motivate my team to show up for their business? How many of you guys feel that way? Maybe you feel that way yourself. Maybe you're like in a place where you're like, my team's just not working. How do I motivate them? How can I motivate them? Okay? Comment. This is going to be an interaction. This is going to be an interactive video. How many of you are in that place where you're like, what can I do as a leader to motivate them to, this hair is really driving me nuts. How do I motivate them to want this? Okay, comment below if you're one of those people, or maybe you have a leader that is struggling with that feels like they have to be the motivator for their team or for their front line, or maybe you recruited people. I mean, I recruited 11 people in the last 3 months and only 2 are working, right? It's aggravating. Yeah, most of them have goes to their business. Okay, so good. This is gonna be right up y'all's alley. So how do you motivate your team? I have the answer, okay? I have the answer. I have the golden answer to this question. You don't. You don't. Your title is not to be a motivator, okay? Your title is to lead and show them that it can be done, okay? I used to do incentives all the time, Hannah, and I stopped. I do them probably every 6 months. I stopped, okay? So maybe you're thinking, how do I motivate them? How do I motivate them? Got the magic answer right here for y'all, okay? Here it goes. You don't. Okay? It is not your job to motivate people to want this business. It is not your job to message them every morning and get them pumped up. It is not your job to do a live video on your team page every single day, hoping that it gets them pumped up. Because I'm going to tell you, I used to be that person. Motivation is BS. Nobody is motivated all the time to work their business. I promise you that. Promise you. I have not been motivated to work my business since October, okay? And it's not my job. It is not my job to motivate you, your team, your group. Not my job. And it's not your job to do it either. You're not a motivational speaker. It is not your job to motivate somebody to want this business if they don't want it. It is not your job to give them a million ideas on how to work their business when they're not going to do it. And I say this with a lot of love in my heart because I hear it a lot more. We have had LTOs every week for like the last 3 months. Okay, we have an amazing join special. We have systems galore. Okay, we have a whole Google Drive for systems. Okay, we have a million YouTube videos. We have so much out there resource-wise. If they want it, they will work for it. And I say this with a lot of love in my heart. So I'm going to give you an example. Say you're a manager, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I used to be a nurse manager. So I managed an office, 4 to 6 nurses, okay? They'd come in, do their job. I was their manager. So I gave them the resources that they needed, the tools that they needed to do their job, okay? I ordered supplies for them, gave them ideas on how to balance time management, all of those things. That was my responsibility. My job was not to make them clock into work. My job was not to text them and say, hey, you coming today? You driving to work today? You coming in? 8 o'clock's your time. It's 8:30. You're not here yet. Are you coming? You coming? Are you coming to work? Oh, you're not coming to work, okay? It is not your job to make them show up, okay? So if you're in a manager in an office, let's say you're in an office, and you're the manager, and your employees wouldn't show up, what would you do? What would you do? You would rehire new employees, okay? You would fire them and hire new employees, correct? Think of it yourself. If you didn't show up at your job, if you didn't go to work, you'd get fired, okay? You wouldn't get a paycheck, okay? It's ironic. I had a team member message me last month and say, hey, I never got paid on the 10th. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, maybe your pay portal's messed up. You need to contact Sensi. I looked up our PRV and I'm like, girl, you didn't even put $1 in. You gonna get paid off a zero? You're gonna get paid off a zero? If you don't show up, you'll get fired. Okay? So what is the difference with this business? If your team isn't showing up, if your team isn't performing, the resources are there. Trust me, y'all, when I joined, we didn't have any resources, okay? We didn't have what we had now. We had nothing. But it was because I wanted it. Deep down, I wanted something more. I found a way. So take all the resources off the table. If you have a team member, and I see this with some of my directors, the ones that have done well, I've done nothing for. Because they wanted it. It's the same thing with your team. So if your team is not performing, if your team is not working, you need to fire them. I say this with love. Fire them and rehire. It's time to rehire. It is normal for people to start out full of fire, right? Full of fire because they're so excited. Then they have a bad month or something happens in their life or they're tired. They get pregnant. Their family member gets sick. Their kids get sick, okay? Life happens. And you'll find people that get so full of fire and then they let their fire die, okay? It is not your job to relight that fire. So please, if you take nothing else from this video, and I still have a lot more to say, please take that weight off of your shoulders, that it is your responsibility and it's a reflection of you if your team doesn't perform, or if your team doesn't show up, or if your team doesn't work. It's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. The resources are there, and I'm on some of y'all's team pages, and I see people say, I just need help getting organized. I just need help with time management. There's resources for all that. There's systems for all that. The bottom line is if you want it, if they want it, they'll do it. Without you having to be the one behind them. Yes, I'm all for recognition, and I'm all for cheering each other on, and I'm all for celebrating successes. But you can't be the riding factor on if they work or not. And I have many teammates like that. They're like, I stopped working because you don't shout me out anymore. I just stopped working because, you just barely text me, you barely check in. Honey, y'all lucky I'm still working my business at this point, okay? Your girl is tired. That's not my job. Motivation comes from within. That's what gets you up in the morning. It has nothing to do with you. I don't have people messaging me every single day, every hour. Hey, Katie, you working? How you working today? What your goals? What you doing? You motivated? No. No. Motivation comes from within. Motivation to be with my son and now with my daughter that's getting ready to come. That's my motivation. You can't motivate people that don't have self-motivation. And if you're in a spot where you feel like that's your job, and I see the heavy load on some of y'all. I see some of you guys say you're so bummed out because your teams aren't excited for LTOs. Your teams aren't excited for this amazing join special we have. Your team isn't excited. Stop expecting out of other people that you expect out of yourself, because it's not going to happen. 1 out of 10 people are going to want this job, and that the numbers don't lie. This is the fact. I have 10 directors, frontline directors. I've sponsored 110, 120 people. So 1 out of 10 is about right. You're not going to motivate everybody. Not everybody's going to see the vision. Not everybody's going to see the potential. And I hate to say too bad, so sad, because that sounds heartless, right? But too bad, so sad. Because if you don't see the potential, that means you're not watching the trainings. That means you're not watching the posts. That means you're not doing team challenges. You're not participating. And that is on you. And I'm sorry if that sounds heartless. But if you're not motivated to work your personal business, if you're not motivated to learn and to do better and to grow, that is on you. Because there's no reason why I can't make people show up. And when people text me and they'll ask me leadership things, and I'm like, girl, we just talked about that on the leadership page, like on our leadership call. We had a bomb leadership call last month. Sorry, let me catch my breath. Where Kelly Williams talked about onboarding and talked about how to work with new recruits. And she's living proof. She's certified almost all of her new recruits within 30 days. If you weren't on that call, you're doing your business a disservice. And I get it. You might not be able to catch it live, but you can watch a recording. I watch most recordings. I'm not on live most of the time. Sorry, I'm just not. So I watch the recordings. We own our own businesses. When they sign up, they're not signing up for a motivational speaker or somebody to push them. Okay? If they want it, they'll find a way. Kelly Williams, prime example. I started working with her back in November, December. She knew everything. You know why? She watched videos. She learned. If she was struggling with sponsoring, she learned more about sponsoring. If she struggled with working with her team, she learned more about working with her team. Okay? The resources are there, y'all. Outside of our group, too. Jen Anderson's one of my favorite people to listen to. You go to YouTube, you could type in any keyword and it'll pop up. So when people say, no, I didn't watch it. Or if they struggle booking parties, I'm like, girl, I just did a book party post, like a challenge. Did you do that? No. Love them and leave them. Some of you need to fire your team and rehire. And right now, you have a perfect hiring process with the $20 join special. Stop hanging on to dead weight. Stop hanging on to people that are not getting active every month, begging them to get active every month, or messaging them challenges on how to get active every month. They don't want to be active. If they did, y'all, we've had LTOs every single week for 3 months. If they wanted to be active, they'd be active. Okay? So I talked about what your title isn't. This is what your title is. Your title is to show them that it can be done. Okay? One of my biggest pet peeves is when people tell me that's impossible, or I can't do that, or I'm not you. There is no difference between me and anybody else. Here's the difference. I make it non-negotiable. I make it non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable how I feel. I show up. Because I know that at my nursing job, I've gone to work with the flu, with a positive flu test. They didn't care. They said, put a mask on and see patients. We're shorthanded. You can't call out. My son has had the flu, and I've had to go to work. Non-negotiable. Luckily, this business, you can work from your home. You can work anywhere else. Okay? You can work anywhere. You don't have to go to a physical building to work this business. Dead weight drags yourself down. Anna just said it. Some of you have become unmotivated because of your team. Some of you have allowed that dead weight of them complaining. I block it out. If you text me complaining, you don't even get a response, okay? Because I get it. But I'm a human too. I can't fix your non-motivational, your problem. I can't. I'm a consultant just like everybody else. I can't fix that. Be solution-driven instead of problem-driven. Be solution-driven. If your team is not working and they're complaining to you and they are sucking the life out of you, been there, sometimes I still get there, sucking the life out of you, dragging you down, you're not going to work. You're not going to work. Because you only have so much mental and emotional capacity to take on your day between being a wife, a mom, your full-time job, whatever. You only have this much mental capacity. And if you spend that mental and emotional capacity on people that do not want to work when the tools and the resources are there, I'm going to just say it. This business is a simple one, okay? Customer service, building your customer base through follow-ups, parties, events, whatever PRV that looks like, sponsoring, sharing the opportunity, and working with your team. But do not get working with your team confused with motivating your team. And that's what some of you guys are confusing. Your job is to show them it can be done. Your job is to show them how to do follow-ups, how to book parties, how to have sponsoring conversations, but not breaking yourself to do that. You work your personal business, take a picture of it, screenshot it, whatever, post it to your team page, share it with your team. You've done your due diligence as a leader. That is showing up for your team. That is leading your team. What you're not, because some of you guys, I hear it. When y'all text me, I can hear it. I can hear it in your text, and I can hear the frustration. And I know you're aggravated. But I'm telling you, I've had to build my team every time I promote a director. I have to rebuild my entire team. Because I'll have one or two full of fire, and the other 200, 300 just don't. I want it, but I want to promote. Okay, how many of y'all say, I want to promote. I want to get 2,000 PRV this month. I want to do this. I want to do this. You just have to be honest sometimes. Say, do you want it? Because your actions don't match what you're saying. The ones that want it, you won't have to do anything for. You'll know. They're the ones showing up. They're the ones putting in PRV. They're the ones sponsoring. That's where your focus needs to go. Take your focus off the people that aren't getting active, okay? I have somebody since March that still isn't certified. She's still not certified. I'm trying. Well, tell me how you're trying, because you're not. You're not trying. So you know what I said? I'm here if you need me, but I'm going to sponsor somebody else that wants it. Stop pouring all of your eggs into one basket, into one person, or to 2 people, or to 5 people, or to 10 people, thinking that something that you say or something that you do is going to somehow put some sprinkles and rainbows and butterflies on the inside of them and make them full of fire again. Because it's not going to happen. Nothing you say, nothing you do is going to motivate somebody that is not motivated. Okay? Nothing. And the sooner you take that off of your shoulders and say, okay, she don't want to work, so I'm going to sponsor. This month, I'm not doing a lot with my team. I'm not coaching a lot with my team. Number one, I just ain't got emotional energy for it. My focus is sponsoring new people, fresh people, excited people. Excited people. Because that's what lights something inside of me. When somebody is reciprocating my fire and my motivation, and they are just as motivated and just as inspired as I am, and they see the vision. Some of you need to start pouring your energy into the right things and into the right people. And I did it wrong for a long time because I tried to motivate people that weren't motivated because I saw potential in them. And I wanted it so badly for them. I have somebody on my team, I want it so badly for her and her family. But she doesn't want it. Every time I text her, it's some, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. Or they don't text back at all. You can love them, but you don't have to be a slave to them. You can love them with everything that you have and say, I'm here when you need me. Stop pouring yourself into people that do not want it. Stop it. If you have to write that down somewhere, write it down. How many people are on your team? What 2 or 3 show up? You start pouring your energy into that and rebuilding your team. Fire them. Fire them. Fire your team. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm not going to text you anymore. Like, I'm here if you need me. I post every day on my team page. Every day. And at least twice a month, I do a live video on my team page. That's it. I pick who I want to work with. I pick. But if you've had the same people for months that are just, I'm trying, I want to promote, I want to hit 2K, I want to do this, I want to earn the incentive, but you ain't got $1 in PRV, you don't want to, honey, you don't want to. I feel like sometimes they feel like they're doing it to make us proud. They're doing this to make us proud. And I actually said this to a teammate yesterday. She said, I feel like I let you down because I'm not doing anything. I said, you're not letting me down because this is your business. You're letting yourself down because you have the potential and you have the tools and you have the resources. So if you're not doing anything with them, you don't want it. Okay? You don't want it. Your job is not to motivate people. That's not your job. Your job is to inspire them and to show them that it can be done. Exactly. Don't want your business to make me happy, boo. My business is growing and thriving. I mean, not trying to blow my head up, but my business is blooming and thriving because I make it non-negotiable, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what's going on in my life. It doesn't matter. I show up because I know what the potential is. I know what happens when I'm consistent. I know how much my life is blessed and enriched when I show up and when I show up consistently. I know that. It's not your job to do that for them. Okay? They don't have it within themselves to share an LTO to get easy PRV. If they don't have it in themselves to copy and paste post, I'm just going to say it. They don't have it in themselves to use the marketing imaging already available in the news tab. They don't even have to take their own pictures if they don't want to. If they don't have it in themselves to do that, nothing Destiny Russell or Courtney Page or Kathy Hart or Kelly Campbell says to them is going to make them do that, okay? Nothing you say. Nothing you say and nothing you do. And I think sometimes as leaders, we say, they're not working, they're not performing, so let me do more, okay? Let me do more live videos. Let me post more in my page. Let me post this. Let me text 100 of them. Let me say this. Let me do this. And then what happens? What happens when you do that? You burn yourself out. You burn yourself out for everybody else. And then you leave yourself so depleted and so disheartened and so discouraged because you've poured and poured and poured into people that have nothing at the bottom, okay? They have nothing here, okay? They have no root. They have no why. They have no reason for why they're doing this. They have no reason They have no drive or no deep-rooted passion for why they show up for their business every day. It's not there. So as you keep pouring, let me do this live video here. I'm going to do another live video here. I'm going to do 20 posts here. Let me send her a text. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Guess what? There's nothing here. So everything you're pouring is just coming at the bottom. And I'm not talking crap about your teams, but I'm just saying, if there's nothing here, you are pouring into empty vessels. You're pouring into people that don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't see it. They don't get it. And not everybody is. And that's why you have to consistently sponsor and bring fresh blood in. For me, sponsoring somebody that is excited is probably my most favorite thing about this business. Because when you sponsor somebody that is excited, it makes me excited. When I have a coaching call with somebody that's hungry and has vision and has a goal, it fills me up. When I have a coaching call with somebody that's so full of excuses, I can't book parties. I can't, nobody wants to buy from me. I did a post and nobody wants to join my team. It drains every bit of me. Every bit of me out. Because I'm pouring into people that do not want to be poured into. They don't want you to. They don't want you to message them. They want to deuce out. They want to deuce out. They don't want. They ain't been active in 4 months, y'all. I don't mean no harm. If you're a leader above and your only requirement is to keep your team, is to be active every 4 months, I'm not reminding you on your 4th month. Not. If you're a lead consultant or above, I'm not reminding you, hey, if you're not active this month, you lose your downline. No, I'm praying for you to lose your downline because you didn't show up for them. You didn't show up for them. Which means you shouldn't have sponsored. I'm just going to say it. You shouldn't have sponsored. If you're not willing to show up for them, stop sponsoring. And if you have people that want to join, send them to people that will show up for them. Because that is my biggest pet peeve. I cannot take it. It's a difference between not showing up for 2, 3, 4 days. But there's some people that ain't showed up in 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's not fair to your teams. Not fair for your teams. Okay? And I say this with as much love in my heart because I know I don't walk in everybody's shoes. But we all have our own crap going on in our life. Okay? Okay? We all have our own crap. My mom is sick. Really sick. I'm sick. I'm redoing my entire house. My son has completely lost his mind the last 3 weeks. I don't know who he is or what Men in Black alien has came and kidnapped him and took my sweet little boy away. I don't know. And it's been hard. And I haven't slept in months, except for the exception of last night, which is praise Jesus. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for James Lassiter. We all have our crap. That doesn't mean you get to deuce out for months and then come back when you're ready and expect your team to cheer that you're back. If you don't want to sponsor, don't. If you don't want to show up, don't. But the only leader to be a leader, the best form of leadership you can give to your team, showing up. Does that mean you have to have it all together? Does that mean you have to have the perfect picture, the perfect verbiage to say to them? It doesn't. Show up for them. I promise you, when you show up, it does something in you, okay? When I don't feel like working, I do a live video like this, or I'll get on my team page and do a live video or do a post, and it makes me want to work. It makes me. You have to be self-motivated. And some people aren't cut out for this, y'all. Stop forcing something that's not meant to be. If your team is not working or performing, stop forcing them to perform. Stop oversharing and doing all these stuff and running yourself ragged for people that don't want it. That don't want it. Okay? That do not want it. Fire them and rehire. It's going to hurt your heart a little bit, but over time, I've been doing this 4 years, almost 4.5 years. There are highs in my group and team. There are lows on my group or team. And I've seen amazing people deuce out on their business. I have seen so much potential and have seen people with so much drive and so much passion deuce out. And I have sat back and said, is there something that I have done or something that I didn't do that I could have done that would have made them not quit? Or what did I do wrong? Could I have done more for them? Please take that off your shoulders. Please take that weight off your shoulders. Because that's not your responsibility. It's not. People are going to do what they want to do. Don't burn yourself out trying to get something out of somebody else that is not there. Okay? This isn't for everybody. Scentssy's not going to be everybody's passion. Not everybody's going to stay with Scentsy forever and ever and ever. Not everybody's going to want to grow old or make a career out of this. Not everybody's going to want this. Your job is to show them the potential of what could be if they are consistent, and show them the simple task. This business is a simple one. It's hard because it's not overnight results. So hear me, and then I'm done, I promise. Because I don't want way too long. This business is a simple one, but it takes time. And people don't want it to take time. They don't. They want simple results. They want to do a simple post, $20 join special. I want to sponsor 10 people from doing this post. I'm going to post the summer collection. I want to get $1,000 in pre-orders. And my business is going to be popping this month, okay? This month. But will they do it again next month? And here's what happens. People have a great month. Second month is popping. The third month sucks. It's on that sucky month that people say, this isn't for me. I can't do this. This isn't for me. And maybe it's not for you. Because you're going to have sucky months. And you're going to have bad months. And you're going to have months where you're really going to have to work for it. You're going to have other months where it's just like it comes easily. But too many people don't want to go through those uncomfortable, sucky months because they don't feel good, right? They don't feel good. They don't feel good when you have a bad month. But they don't want to go through the bad month. So I look at how many people start this and they're so full of fire. Their first, second, third month, so full of fire. And then it gets hard. Okay? Then it gets hard. And it gets tough. And it gets overwhelming. So it's easier to quit than it is to persevere through those feelings. It's easier to quit. It's easier to say, this ain't for me, even though I did good, it's not for me. And that's why when people ask me, so many Scentsy consultants sell it. No, so many people start it, but they don't finish it. Okay? So many people start it, and they don't finish it. And I'm going to say this about myself, and my husband knows this about me. I do not start something that I do not finish. I do not say I'm going to do something and then not do it. That's just the type of person I am. I am a firm believer that if I can't keep a promise to myself, when I signed up for this, James taught me into signing up for this. It was no if it doesn't work. No, honey. I'm going to prove it to myself. I'm going to prove it to myself. Same with nursing school, y'all. Some of y'all don't know my story, but when I got into nursing school, I didn't have a vehicle. I had to hitchhike most of my school days to nursing school. Okay? I couldn't afford to pay the second part of my nursing school tuition. I couldn't afford to. I wore the same uniform. Look. I wore the same white uniform for an entire year in nursing school. It had pit stains and everything on it. The same one every day, 5 days a week for an entire year. But I did it because so many people said, you never do it. I started to believe to myself, there's no way I can do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. You can do anything you set your mind to. And I'm that type of person. I don't prove it to anybody else. I prove it to myself. I prove how capable I am to myself. But you can't make other people do that. That has to come from within, okay? That has to come from deep, deep, deep within. That's nothing Jamie Edwards or Ray Anderson or Heather Hamill can say. There's nothing y'all can say that is going to make them get up and do it. So please, please take that off. This business is a simple one. If you're consistent and you give it time and you focus on the right things, this business model is a simple one. Too many people quit because of the amount of time it takes. And I'm going to be real and I'm going to mic drop it and then I'm done. I worked this business consistently for 2 years. And I'm going to actually go live in my stories about this. I mean, long nights, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up. I wanted to quit. It freaking sucked for 2 years while I nursed for 2 years. 2 years. I never saw the light at the end of the tunnel. But I was consistent. And it's because of that 2 years of consistent, focused, hard work that I am here with my child. That I am here with my unborn child. Thank God I didn't quit when it got hard. Because guess what? Life about to get even harder. Some of you guys need to choose your version of hard. What's harder? Following up with a few customers, asking them to join for $20? Or going to a job you hate, missing out every moment of your kid's life? Thank God I'm home now. They're shorthanded like a mother. And I have not felt good this pregnancy. I would have still had to go to work. Thank God for those 2 years. But people look at time and they're like, I want success in 2 months. I want a $2,000 paycheck in 2 months. If I don't get it, I'm quitting. And they give up. They give up before they reach their breaking point, or they give up before people see that they're for real. I get so many new customers now because of other consultants leaving and quitting because they see that I am consistent. They don't have to wonder, does Katie still do Scentsy? They don't have to wonder, is Katie still the Scentsy girl? They don't have to wonder. My last 3 join people, have never met them. Don't know who they are. They're not customers of mine. They have watched me for 4 years. And they said, I almost joined under such and such, but I don't see her post anymore. I don't see her share anymore. So I join under you. Because I see that you're consistent. I see that you share. Consistency. You want to know how to be successful in this business? You be consistent. Be consistent for 6 months. Be consistent for 9 months. Be consistent for a year. Year sounds like a long time, don't it? It's going to pass either way. Time's going to pass either way. It's going to pass. And I don't want, some of you guys, I wonder, I'm like, when they leave or when their fire dies, if they would have kept up with that momentum, where would their business be now? Where would their dream be now? If they would have just held on. It's not my job to throw out an anchor to them. It's not my job to throw out a safety net to them. It's not my job. My job is to show them that it can be done. My job is to show them that it's not impossible, that it is possible. And that if I can do it, they can do it. That is my job. And that is your job. Take that weight off. Take that weight off of your shoulders. Okay? what would it look like? What would it look like? What would it look like if y'all really put your head down and said, you know what? For the next 6 months, I'm going to have 2,000 PRV and I'm going to sponsor 2 people for the next 6 months. Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You're going to write it down. This is what it's going to be. It's non-negotiable. What would your business look like in 6 months? Would you be out of debt? Would you be able to leave that job that you hate? Would you be able to pay off that credit card? Would you be able to take your family on a vacation? Would you be able to relax? Would you have breathing room in between your paychecks? What would it look like if for 6 months you made this non-negotiable, okay? Because you started already. You already did the hard part. You put your social security number in and you joined. You did the hard part, the scary part. What would it look like if you were to make this non-negotiable for 6 months? Meaning your excuses out the window, meaning that you stopped caving into your own BS, because we all do it, okay? What if you said it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter what's going on. This is non-negotiable for 6 months. What would your business look like? What would your life look like? Because they're very, very much intertwined. And I don't like to keep them separate. Your business is a part of your life. And your business can transform your life. And too many people, they're like, I'm not going to work. I mean, I had somebody on the 3rd. What's today? The 6th. On the 3rd, message me. Something's going on in my life. I think this is just going to be a bad month for me. And I said, girl, it's the 3rd. It's the 3rd. It's only the 3rd. Like, we got 31 days this month. You're predicting on the 3rd that you are not going to have a great month. And you know what I said to her? I said, okay. Let me know if you need anything. What do you want me to do with that? Convince you? You want me to convince you to turn your month around? You want me to convince you to front load when I talked about front loading last month for this month and you obviously didn't do it? You want me to convince you to work? Because my job is not to convince you to show up for something that can change your life. That is not my job. It is not my job to convince somebody that's having a bad month to keep going. That's not my job. Pour into the right people. Don't let, and you're going to see as your teams grow and as your group grows, okay? I have a team of 300 and we have a group of 3,200. What would my life look like if I had to message all 3,200 people begging them to work? I wouldn't have a life and I wouldn't have a business. There is one of you. And you need to protect your peace and protect your energy and protect the things that you say yes to and the people that you pour into. And you need to protect that. That's not selfish. It is not selfish to not answer people's messages after your business hours, okay? I don't know how many times I got to say it. My business hours are from 9 to 3, but yet every single day at 5 o'clock at dinner time, I get a text message over some dumb crap. Every day. It is not selfish. It is not selfish. It is not selfish. There is one of you. Your responsibility is to show up. Show them how to work. Show up. Be consistent. That's your job. Your job is not to force something out of people that is not there, okay? Your job is not to force something that isn't there, okay? I love you guys. Yes, I will upload this to YouTube. It takes a while because of life. It takes a while for it to upload. I'll share the recording so you guys can share it with your team. But I wanted to pop up here this morning and just encourage you guys. Leadership can be very, very hard. And there is no book saying that there is a right way, especially when you have a lot of women. Every person's different. Every love language is different. Everybody's approach. People take things the wrong way. People get sensitive. They get in the feelings. You just need to remind yourself why you started. And your goal as a leader is to change other people's lives using Scentsy as the vessel. Scentsy, the vessel, is the vessel that can change other people's lives. But you can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. Okay? You will burn yourself really, really quick pouring into people that begin to expect it. They don't appreciate it, they expect it. And when you start doing that repeatedly and the number of people that begin to expect it, you become so depleted that you lose your own fire and your own spark, and you start to wonder, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Is this worth it? And I don't want you guys to get to that place that say, you know what, I can't do this. I can't motivate all these people, because it's not your job. Okay? So, if you're in that place where your team is dead, fire them. Love them. Hey, I love you. I'm here for you if you need me. And sponsor. Rebuild your team like you are a certified consultant. That's what I'm doing right now. I am rebuilding my team like I am a certified consultant. And I'm there for everybody else. They need me. I'm there for them. That doesn't mean I have to kill myself for them. Or have to exhaust myself for them. Okay? You can love them. Lead with love. Love covers everything. Lead with love. But stand firmly and say, this is what you're getting out of me. You're getting 1 post a day, 1 live video a week. That's what you're getting from me. I'm going to show you how I'm working, but that is all that you're getting from me. And rebuild. It's time. Some of you guys, it's time to rehire. It's the perfect month to rehire with this special. So I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful Thursday. And if you're a mom, dog mom, baby mama, plant mom, whatever mama, an aunt, grandma, happy Mother's Day. I love y'all.